fellow beings, my name is Amanda, and today I am actually in my car and I am traveling to my sister's office. She is a Reiki practitioner, and I'm going to show you guys all the things that go on with Reiki and also interview her about that as well. So I'm going to be driving down there to show you guys how Reiki goes. It's actually super relaxing. I absolutely love Reiki, and I just wanted to show you how Reiki is practiced and also how it can help people that have chronic illnesses, because anything that can help you relax for a little bit is definitely needed when you're sick. So I will see you there. So I'm here with my sister again, but this time we're in her office, and she is going to be doing some Reiki on me today. And I wanted to go over what Reiki is, ask her a few questions before we begin so that everybody can understand what Reiki is, because not a lot of people know what it is. No, it's not a crazy cult. I promise. I'm not part of a cult. You're not part of a cult. There's no cults. What is Reiki?
Reiki is a Japanese energy form. So the short thing that my teacher told us is that it's basically just higher level energy, higher frequency energy, higher level energy, breaking up lower level energy, and lower level energy is what is yucky.
So like stress and
stress, negative emotions, like anger, sadness, all that. It's like a lower vibration. It's not like necessarily bad, just not very good for health purposes. Now, the word Reiki, it's seen a few different translations for what Rei is. Like, it's like a higher power or higher source. This here says that it's like universal life.
So and all the energy everywhere.
Yeah. Thing. And then Ki is energy, if you've seen any anime. And that is the energy that flows within us. It flows outside of us as well. But Reiki brings the energy from outside and directs it into the body. And it's kind of like acupuncture, because acupuncture is also trying to get your ki moving, because if your energy gets like stuck and just kind of sits in one place and doesn't move through, then you can get sick. Illnesses come from that.
Because I know in acupuncture, the point is there's a blockage somewhere, and it's supposed to be helping clear that blockage. Is that?
That's not. Yeah, it's very, very similar. Similar ideas, and it also kind of leans into kind of the Hindu with the chakras. So there's different parts of your body that have different energy centers, and what's really interesting is when I do Reiki, I can actually feel where they are. It's kind of like a little electrical thing. And some people, I think that it should be in a certain area, and I don't feel it until, not quite where I thought it would be. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. But, I mean, it's still within the range, because the range for, crown chakra is top of your head. And then you have your brow or third eye chakra is usually somewhere in this area. Doesn't have to be directly there, but it's usually pretty close to there. And then you have your throat chakra, and then heart chakra is, it's usually pretty close to where your heart is. But the ones that I've had in different locations were the solar plexus. And that one's between your breastbone, the end of your breastbone, to your belly button. So that's kind of a wide, it depends on if you're like a long person. It's quite a long distance, or a short distance if you're me. And then the sacral is between your belly button and your about pubic bone. And the root is, I don't remember who described it like this. It was either something I watched or my teacher. It's right where you sit. So if you're looking at the front, it's like right in the crotch area and like right in the bottom of your butt crack there. But it's, yeah, I think it's where you sit. That's your root. That's where you're planted.
Okay, so you're going to be performing Reiki on me today. What exactly does that entail?
At my office, we have my massage table that you can lay on. It's very squishy and comfy. If that doesn't work for you, you can be seated. You can be standing. It doesn't really matter. It's just that you're calm. If you can stand for an hour. But yeah, I prefer the table just because a lot of people kind of zone out, and I don't know if standing would be safe. Sitting is okay. I've done quite a few sitting where people were sitting. I do ask beforehand how comfortable you are with being touched, because I can just kind of hover over, or it's just kind of a light touch. It's not like massage. It's not a massage. But yeah, I can hover. But I think the touch part of it is important, not just for the Reiki. I mean, for Reiki, you don't even have to be in the same room with someone, because I can do long distance Reiki as well. But physical touch there's scientific evidence that shows that, I mean, we're a society starved of of being touched, not sexually. I'm not talking about that, but especially now with the uncertain times we're in. I don't know, we're not a very touchy-feely culture in America. Mm-hmm. We are more so than some countries, but less than others. Mm-hmm. And it's sad.
So touch is important.
Yes, it is important. I mean, it helps babies.
There was that absolutely horrible study.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me on those oldie time.
What was it,
studies.
In the 30s? It was a long time ago, but they did a study where they decided to touch and hug and be nice to one group of babies and completely neglect and only give them food and nourishment and change their diapers.
We have laws now that prevent those kind of studies. Scientists are crazy sometimes.
The kids who had no physical contact and didn't get any love, they were messed up.
And it continues into adulthood. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't... I mean, there are some people that have had things happen where they can't be touched, and that's understandable. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's good to be touched. I mean, that's why we pay people to get massages. And so you get on the table. I usually do face down first, because it's a little less awkward to do all of them. Because on the front, I don't know. With women, you got, the chests.
You tore my chests.
I like that movie.
That's a good movie.
And then, belly, and then of course the root is like right over the area that shouldn't be touched by strangers. the bikini area. So, and like the root chakra is still over the butt, and I don't feel comfortable touching people's butts, and I'm sure even if they wanted me to, I'd be like, no. There's a few ways you could start. You could do with a Biosen scan, where you first kind of just, it's with your non-dominant hand, you kind of run your hand over the top of them and feel for areas that might need some more focus. but I like to just go one at a time through the chakras, and just a little bit at a time, and then I go back through and see if there's anyone that wants more. And then I'll focus on those. Usually I try to keep it to one or two, because everybody is out of balance and every chakra is not going to be perfect. So I kind of decide at least one or two that are like the main ones that I'll focus on for that session.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they come back, we can work on other ones or that one. But I go through all of them and then go and focus on other ones longer. And most of the time is face down, depending on if you have a bad back, then we could do face up. I'll just be a little bit more cautious. Then I usually do some drum sound therapy, and it's just, I really love sound therapy. I want to focus more on that later. There's still a lot I have to learn about that. But sound therapy, different vibrations help.
What does Reiki feel like? I can answer this,
Okay.
but I'm going to let you answer this. Oh, sorry.
It's different for different people. I have a patient who described it kind of like they felt like they were floating. Thought that was interesting. The last client that I had, afterwards they were like, it just feels like staticky, like buzzy feeling.
That's how I would describe it.
And they couldn't believe that that was my hand. Like, oh no, that was the one before that. I was like up on by their face. They were asking me like what I feel, and I was telling them, especially I was like, it was just like I feel it's like a staticky electricity, and like the more balanced areas are also smooth. I don't. And then sometimes you feel it when you hit like a really bad area. It's like I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's like it's caught in it. But I was like at their face. I was like, yeah. She's like, that was just your hand. She's like, I thought you had a brush. You were brushing me with something. And I was like, no.
Interesting.
And you don't get naked like a massage,
Which is good.
yeah. Because clothes don't block energy.
So what exactly does Reiki do?
Just the whole action of it calming the mind. That's why I named my business One Mind Reiki, is because that's kind of what it helped with me, is because I am very scatterbrained, all over the place and crazy, and it doesn't get rid of that sort of thing in general, but it can help you kind of, when you need to, bring everything into focus, into the moment, into just one mind. And that helps with anxiety and depression. And I'm not saying it cures. What were we talking about? Like curing and healing are two different things.
Yeah.
It helps. Especially during the session, it's like nothing else matters.
All right, so one thing that people are always afraid of,
Yes.
that is not any reason to be afraid of it, but people are scared that Reiki is a form of religion, and if you practice it or you go get it done, then you are like disloyal to a religion that you're in or anything like that.
It's not linked to any religion. It's very wonderful. I mean, it's not religious, but it is spiritual. You don't have to believe in it for it to work. It just, it happens whether you believe in it or not. That's
So that brings me to my last question.
okay.
Is it real?
Is it real? Is anything real? We're beings on this planet with just our senses.
Pretty much.
How much of anything?
Because I know in the Western world, like anything that isn't like going to a hospital, getting drugs, and getting shots or something like that, then it's just hokey like medicine. So for Westerners who are like, only this is science, is this real?
There have actually been studies. In fact, they're bringing these kind of things more into hospital settings because they do help. Like, it's not going to replace chemotherapy, and for goodness sakes, if you have cancer, go get chemotherapy, because just focusing on like the spiritual or whatever is, you need to cover your bases. Like, this is gonna, if you have cancer, go get chemotherapy. Come here to find some peace.
Yeah. Please see your doctor.
Yes,
if
please
you
see your
need to
doctor.
see your
In fact,
doctor.
I have a thing that all my clients sign. I say I don't want to call them patients because I don't like, it's considered a healing art, but I am just kind of like a conduit. It's not me. It's the energy, and it's mostly just helping your body do what it's supposed to do, because your bodies have the ability to heal themselves. But if you're stressed out, if you're holding a lot of tension in places, you're not going to heal very well.
And there is scientific proof that is a fact. Stress
Lower
is horrible.
vibration emotions cause problems.
Like, that was one of the first things that, like, my doctor, when I started seeing my specialist, was, how stressed out are you right now? And I'm like, very. He's like, okay, we need to sort that out before we can sort out anything else, because nothing is going to work unless you are calm. And so we've been working on trying to get me balanced so that the Western side of the medicine can actually work. Because everything has been foiled by the fact that I'm just a stress ball. And so he's like, so how's this medicine working? Not very well. How stressed are you? Very. So there is proof that that can help.
So they're bringing it. In fact, a friend of mine just told me about a conference that University of Utah just had this year, and Reiki was a topic. And I don't know if this was all about mental health, but I'm thinking it was a mental health conference, or it was just a medicine conference, I'm not sure. But it's really getting noticed. They are using it a lot in like old folks' homes. It helps, the elder, it helps everybody, but the studies show improvement. Even if you don't believe in the energy, even if it isn't the energy, it turns out, like, scientifically they're able to prove that just people, there is scientific evidence that just having someone paying attention to you and focusing on you and touching you is beneficial.
I do know that in hospitals, patients that only have a doctor come in, check their vitals, and leave, versus nurses that come in, pay attention to them, ask them how they're doing, or they hire medical anthropologists to come in, and they'll sit and talk to them and whatnot. They get better faster than those that are just in their sterile environment.
Even if the doctor, like, just taking, like, checking your heart, even if they don't have to, that I think has been like just the hands-on, like, actually caring. I've had so many doctors like, all right, thanks, see ya, bye. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yep.
I came in because I had a problem and I don't feel like anything happened. But yeah, your mind is a very powerful thing. Like, you can, I mean, there are, what are those, somatic illnesses where it's caused by your mind. Psychosomatic, thank you. Psychosomatic, where you might not even know your illness is one of those. But if you're so stressed out and having issues, then the high adrenals is, you're going to get sick.
Yeah. Which, with my illness, because this is the reason why I'm here, with my illness, it's believed that it was caused by a virus, and then a high stress traumatic event happens. So someone could be in a car accident, or they could have another type of traumatic injury, or mine was a job that causes severe stress, and it just triggers that virus to come back and just wreaks havoc. And so stress is a bad thing.
Yes, the more stress I am, the sicker I feel.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it always like kind of, I mean, it doesn't get rid of everything. I have, some spinal issues, but when I'm not stressed, then I can get up and do things. I may not feel like great, but I feel better.
All right, so thank you for answering my questions. That was all of them. So I'm on my tummy. My tum-tums.
Start with your tum-tums. Tum-tums.
Check the heat out here, because it only holds for a couple hours. Yeah, that's why it's getting chillier.
Okay. I was like, it's kind of cold.
So that was a fantastic trip. I am not joking. I actually slept that night, and my painsomnia did not keep me up all night after that, and it was fantastic. So I highly recommend Reiki to anyone. It's not a weird, strange cult thing. It is just a wonderful way to relax and be able to feel some healing, especially if you have some form of chronic illness. It's not going to cure you. It's not a miracle cure. It's just another tool to help you in your endeavor to feel a little bit better. I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that maybe you got something out of it and you were able to learn a little bit about Reiki, and that it's not as scary as some people think it is, and that you were able to learn that you can go and get it done yourself, and that it's no longer a strange experience because you know what's going to happen. And you're going to meet someone awesome like my sister. If you are interested in learning about chronic illnesses, what life is like with chronic illnesses, ways to deal with living with chronic illnesses, then go ahead and click that subscribe button. And go ahead and click that like button, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that this video needs to go up in front of more people. And that is something that I think needs to happen. Remember to be kind. Kindness is free, so give it out to everyone. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Around the table in all the places that you normally walk, so I can make sure that I can see you. Okay, if you go do this. I found a clipboard and it looks cool, so I'm gonna read from it. It's a good thing I have a clipboard. I know. Emotionally,
Because watching...
all right,
There's
so
no cult. But you won't be allowed to talk to your family after anymore.
Sorry. It's either us or them.
Do you want to be healed? Or not?
All right, so my first question is, what is Reiki? Thank you, phone.
Okay, I gotta put that on silent.
Oh. All I can do is see a ring light.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm not wearing.
That Washington postmark
It
was
worked?
the funniest thing ever. Because all of a sudden I was like, computer, play Washington postmark by John Philip Sousa. And all of a sudden I was like, level 8. And all of a sudden you hear, Washington Postmarch by John Philip Sousa. And all of a sudden Eric's on the couch going, and that was the best. And I was like, yes. And I'm sitting on the other couch staring at him when it happened. I wasn't in the bedroom. I was just sitting there like, get off the couch. So, yes. Well, the roller mills are right there. So if you ever see, you know, Footloose, the original one, not the
There's
new
a
one.
second one.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that one.
God.
So the original one was filmed just down the street here.
That's their claim to fame. That's their claim to fame.
Yeah, and it was like derelict, and then they said, hey, can we record here? They're like, yeah, if you paint it. And the film company's like, okay, so they painted it, and now it's back open, and
Yeah, it's an actual mill. You can
Yeah.
buy like flour there.
it was because of that movie.